I'm going to color my hair. And I said I would never color my gray hair, but I've already tried using toner on top of it, and it works somewhat, but it's not the exact results I would like. Now, I did a lot of research on coloring hair, and especially gray hair like mine, and I learned a few things that I would like to just tell you about. First off, I learned that Demi permanent, which uses a 10 volume developer, versus permanent hair color, which uses a 20 volume developer, both will fade. Neither really ever come completely out, which was something I was kind of amazed about. Number two, I learned also that even if you use permanent, if you have resistant grays, it's because the cuticle is just broken on that hair, it's just open. That's why when you even use permanent dyes, when you start washing your hair, it just comes right out. So I decided to use Demi Permanent, which uses a 10 volume. It's more of a color depositing and it's not as damaging to your hair. I also learned based on different kinds of colors. When you see the color swatch in the store, that's based on white hair. You need to understand that you're putting it over your hair and not on a piece of white, hair that's never been probably colored before. Especially most of us have colored our hair. And I decided based on reviews that I would go 2 shades lighter than what my natural hair color would be. I was a medium to a light brown. So I would say on the color scale, I was maybe between a 6 and a 7. And so I decided to go with the Demi Permanent in a 8. So this is actually, it calls it light natural blonde, but even though it says blonde, that can be very deceptive. You may think you're going blonde and you may not be. You may be going very brown depending on how your color is taking to your hair, even though it's depositing. Also check the time. Even though they might say leave it on 20 minutes for if you have 50% or 60% gray, maybe leave it on 30 or 40 minutes for 100% gray. That's what the ion says. You might want to check your hair every 10 minutes and see if it's getting to the color that you like, or do a swatch test ahead of time. I'm not that worried about it. I'm not going to be upset with the way it comes out. I'm doing this just to show you what I am going to do. Also, I used a color that's an N. It's an N because Ns tend to adhere to gray hairs better. And I stayed away from the colors that use an A, which is ash, which is putting gray or silver tones back into your hair. I also want to give you a full bird's eye view of what my hair looks like. I had put some Bronze Wheat toner in my hair. It's been about 6 weeks. This is what it looks like. So I do have some residual toner, and you can see these gray, resistant gray areas. Now, I don't know if the Demi Permanent is going to cover that, and it may not. But what I do know is that my hairstyle, I'm working on it being an undercut. So this part that is taking the color is going to grow down over this area eventually. And this part will be hidden. So you can also work around resistant grays depending on where they are by your hairstyle. I've learned that, and I'm really glad that I'm doing the undercut type of hairstyle right now. Also, most people have a darker area in the back here, and that's just common with a lot of people. Whether you're going gray or you have light blonde hair, you might have a little darker patch under here. So that's just a natural hair pattern for a lot of people. Okay, I'm prepped and I'm getting ready to work on the steps to get to the point where I'm actually going to put the color on my hair. So step 1, I'm going to use some Vaseline, and I'm going to make sure I cover my hairline and my ears so that I don't get any hair color on my forehead and on skin that I don't want colored. Another step that was recommended on a lot of sites, a couple of people mentioned that if I take the 10 volume developer and I just put a little bit on a cotton ball like this, I shook it up first. I'm going to just put it on these areas right here. It's called softening the grays where they are the most resistant, and it kind of preps the cuticle. Now, do I know if this really works? I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm reading on all these sites from beauticians, cosmetologists, whatever they are, hairdressers, and it says this can help soften the grays. So I'm going to just put a little bit around on the resistant parts. I have some resistant here in the back. You can see like that little hairline here. They say to leave this on 5 to 8 minutes before I actually mix the color and put it on the rest of my hair. I've mixed up the Demi Permanent Hair Color. That's 2 ounces with 2 ounces of the Volume 10 Developer. And Sally Beauty Supply recommended I use this color booster. It helps strengthen and restore, re-moisturize your hair. And you use a half of this vial into this mixture. So this is what the vial looks like. It's clear. You do not adjust any of the developer amount or anything like that. So I'm just going to pour half a vial into my mixture. Everything is mixed and I have my rubber gloves on and I've opened up the package that the Demi Permanent Hair Color comes in, and there's a chart in here and it tells you how long to leave the color on, if you're 50% gray, 100% gray, whether you're using heat or no heat. So you can follow the directions. Now, the maximum amount of time they say is about 40 minutes. I don't think that there'll be any color depositing action after that. If you're concerned and you don't want it to be, you might think it might get too dark, you can always check it midway through. I am doing it based on 100% gray, so I might check it at maybe 25 to 30 minutes, see if I like the way it's coming out, and work from there. As I start to color, I'm going to work on starting with the most resistant gray parts first, get that on first, and then start working on the part. I like using a bottle. I like the tip. It's easier to work with. I get better coverage, I think, with the bottle. If you like using a brush, that's fine. You just need to make sure everything you're using is plastic, no metal. I've completely covered my hair. I think I got pretty good coverage. And I'm going to leave it on for 30 minutes because it's probably been between 5 minutes or more getting it just prepped onto my hair. And I did my sides first, and I did the first part in the front here that was a little more resistant. I don't know if you can tell, but the hair is getting really dark after about 25 minutes. So I'm going to take it off because, as I said, using 2 shades lighter than what you think your natural color is would be the best way to start, because the Demi Permanent, you can only go darker, you can't go lighter. So I'm going to quickly rinse this out of my hair, dry it, and show you what it looks like. So here's how my hair looks. It's just wet, towel dried. Really covered the grays over here pretty good. And this is just Demi Permanent. And again, I used an neutral N, which is a natural color, which helps cover grays better. And I went 2 shades lighter than what my natural hair color would be a medium to in between light brown color. I am glad I did not go with a 7. I think it would have turned my hair almost black. And I think it looks better with my skin tone. I think it looks better with my eyebrows. There's not so much of a differentiation. I do have a yellow-ish sallow skin tone, and I'm going to blow it out. And with the Demi, it will fade over time, so it should last for about 6 weeks or 26 shampoos, depending on how often you wash your hair. And I'm going to be careful about not using super hot water, but it's less damaging. It has no ammonia. It only uses the 10 developer. Let me dry it and I'll show you what the total finished product looks like. This is how my hair looks now that I blew it dry. It covered the grays on the side pretty good. I did have a few showing up still. Again, those are color resistant grays, and I anticipate that this color will wash out of the sides faster than maybe other parts of my hair. I did use a shine spray on it, and I just blew it dry on a low setting. And this is how it looks around on the back side. So Again, this was 2 shades lighter than what my natural color would be. It was an 8, which is a light natural blonde. I used an N because it helps cover grays better, but Demi Permanent is usually used to help blend grays. So if you are going gray and you have brown hair, you can use this to help blend it and slowly work it into your routine. And if you like the way it looks, you can just keep using it. It slowly fades. It lasts for about 6 weeks, and then you need to recolor again. So it's not totally maintenance free, but it only uses a 10 volume developer. It's not really doing the damage to your hair that a permanent dye will do. I also did a video called Stop Coloring Your Gray Hair. I had gray hair for over 5 years, I would say, and I used the L'Oreal Color Glosser, and I really liked it. I just was getting a little bored with it, my gray hair. I just wanted to do something different, and so this is it. A lot of people also think gray hair makes you look old. It just depends on you. I didn't think it made me look old. I just got to the point where now that the sun is coming out and I'm getting more of a tan, it didn't do as much for my skin coloring as my darker hair will do. So I just wanted to change it up at least for the summer. And if you like this video, give it a like, a share, a thumbs up, and a subscribe. And I'll see you next time on Big City Girl, Small City Living. Bye.